by film.
5,
Stand by music.
4,
Stand by announce.
3, 2, 1.
And fade up.
It's the Bellagio, the Mirage, and the MGM Grand.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Mike Wazowski.
Open your eyes.
Now tell me, where are the others?
Eat me!
King Kong ain't got on me!
What about second breakfast?
Why not? Why can't I? How can we be expected to teach children to learn how to read if they can't even fit inside the building?
Well, welcome, one and all, to a new episode of 20 Years, 4 Years.
Welcome again.
Hey,
we're having
let's
a
start
podcast.
over. So welcome, everyone, to a new episode of 20 Years, 4 Beers, a podcast dedicated to rewatching movies from 2 decades ago while enjoying a minimum of 4 modern beers.
Beer.
My name is Steve, and this is my brother,
Tim.
and we are coming to you from just outside of Minneapolis, Minnesota. We have just finished watching, and we recorded our episode on Black Hawk Down, so go check that out. And as usual, we sit together afterwards and discuss another film over another beer or two. So we refer to these as our happy hour episodes.
Hey, you guys. Happy hour is from 4 to 6.
The imbibing continues.
That's right. So the happy hour is just us sort of like chilling and talking. We do watch these movies separately. On this episode, we will be talking about 2001's kind of tearjerker of a film.
Yeah.
Life as a House. Life as a House details the last months of George Monroe's life after he discovers he has terminal cancer. In an effort to fix the errors of his last 10 years, he decides to force his 16-year-old son, Sam, to move in with him in his shack overlooking the ocean, and together build the house that George had dreamed of building for decades. Along the way, George's ex-wife and those he could potentially call friends join in on the effort to finish the house before George eventually dies. Spoiler.
I want that thing out of your chin, okay? If you got nipple rings, the navel rings, those come out too. And there's no makeup in my house. No glue sniffing, huffing, no pills, no grass. You've worn out your welcome at this house, Sam. This may well be the worst summer of your entire life, but you've earned it. Now go pick up the suitcase, get in the truck, now.
I'll hate you for the rest of my life.
Well, you can't even begin to know how much I hate my father. Think of it as a family tradition.
Pretty clear once you hit play.
Yeah.
The film is directed by Irwin Winkler, written by Mark Andrews, and starring Kevin Klein, Hayden Christensen, Kristen Scott Thomas, Dame. I did not know that, but Dame Kristen Scott Thomas.
Really?
Yes, according to the internet, I guess.
Cool. Kudos to her.
Yeah, so Jenna Malone and Mary Steenburgen. Tim, do you have any initial memories of Life as a House?
I went to see this because it was not all the rage, but from a movie-going standpoint, it was like the rare, perfect combination of a movie that looked semi-interesting with cast, but the Guster, which is a music band, obsession in college,
was real.
Something real.
Yep.
So it was like
and rightfully
a movie
right.
that has Guster prominently featured. We got to check it out. So I remember seeing it and feeling like it was fine. I had no probably strong reactions to it. Felt like it had moments. But much like we talked about in Black Hawk Down, I saw it and probably never watched it again. So it was nice to revisit, honestly. So how about you?
I definitely had great like I loved this movie from the first time I saw it, and I remember probably this is 01 it came out, so this would probably have been like 2003.
Yeah.
On DVD, I went up with friends to Bluefin Bay resort or whatever, in the winter, in the middle of like February.
Nice.
And we all got sloshed, and I was like, I brought my DVDs along. And of all
Here's
the
what
movies,
we're gonna
I know,
watch.
of all the movies we ended up watching, it was Life as a House, because I have been very passionate about, like, similar to In the Bedroom, right? Like, I've been passionately trying to get people to watch this movie for 20 damn years.
Yeah.
And it's worked. It's worked better with Life as a House than it ever did with In the Bedroom, considering you're the first I've ever gotten to
you're telling me
successfully watch this.
You lure people to a remote location
Absolutely.
like Superior Lake.
Sure.
Your
I
prison
lube them up with alcohol. Oh, yeah.
In February.
Sure.
You can't drive anywhere because it's cold and you're inebriated.
That's right.
We're watching a movie I want to watch.
That's right.
Well played.
Oh, yeah. That's how I got it. That's how I, That's
Shit.
how I get a lot of
Is that how you got me over here tonight?
That's right.
Damn it. I fell for it.
So anyway, I have been very passionate about this movie, but not in a like, not like a, oh my God, it's the best movie of the last 20 years kind of a thing, anything like that, but just for what it is. And we'll talk about that later. So I love this movie from the start. I'm so glad to watch it again.
Sure.
And it's probably, but even then, as much as I like it, it's probably been 7 or 8 years since I mean, it's been a while since I've watched it last.
Sure.
So it hits differently, but I had a great experience with this. Like you say, like people who did see it in the theaters were like, oh, you should go watch this.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that on the social network too, about the difference of reviews and that kind of stuff.
And I was able to actually watch it in one sitting.
Look at you.
So that was a nice thing. That was good.
So, yeah, we'll come back to some of that here, but our first segment, as usual, is Drinking Buddies.
Come on, not my fucking beer.
Where we talk about our 4 beers, and we do watch most of these separate, so each of us had a couple. So, Tim, what were your drinking buddies for this Life as a House sitting down in one sitting?
It was disappointing to not have a theme.
It's a pretty tough theme.
I was thinking about like how to put this in some kind of like, can I find like architecture?
Or California, maybe? But
yeah, exactly.
Even then.
Ocean. I'm like, you know what? Whatever. It's all good. So I had out of Minneapolis, 56 Brewings Forward, or FWD. They're triple dry hopped, triple IPA. It was a 4. Solid. It was a nice, like, this is quite tasty. It worked out really well. So
yeah, 56 has been doing some good things since they changed directions.
Had a bit of a a paradigm shift.
Sure.
In a good way.
Yeah.
Henceforward actually is like, it's on the can. It talks about let's move forward.
Oh yeah.
So yes.
Yeah. Let's get past that. So shout out to Michael who works there and does a great job over
Great
it.
job.
Nice job.
So then I had out of Duluth, Wild State, their pear cider.
Whoa, second cider.
I was feeling the cider because I just wanted something different. And their pear cider is damn good.
Really?
If you can find it, it's really, really good.
Nice.
Like 4.25. It's a very tasty pear cider. Like sometimes I feel like it's tough to capture a pear flavor. I mean, we talked about New Glarus.
I like New Glarus. Yeah,
I know. Really good. But that's like a beer pear.
Some people didn't like it, but yeah.
I don't know those people. And they're terrible.
You met her, but then,
that's terrible.
Yeah, she's an awful person.
It's not a safe space at all.
I mean,
I know. No accounting for taste.
Deep breath. But no, it's a really good pear cider. Very, very good. So Wild State out of Duluth. So what'd you have?
I had, I guess, technically the first time, but since it's releasing our second back channel beer, because I had it before.
You had it?
I didn't have the same.
In the previous podcast, we had.
I'm saying it was a different one, but I'm like,
I don't
how
know
do you
why.
say like it's the second time we've had back channel on the podcast, and yet technically I had it
prior to it
before. I know.
That's it.
I know. Christopher Nolan needs to make a movie.
Yeah,
about
exactly. This time, it's
so I had the from Back Channel Brewing in Bumblecrap, Minnesota.
Lake Minnetonka, basically.
Mound, whatever.
It is Mound.
Their Open Doors Stout. Good solid stout, 4 out of 5. Like nothing fancy. It wasn't.
Never had that.
Right. It was. I think it's new this fall. It was good. And then I had out of, I guess, Plymouth, Minnesota, Loose Line Brewing, or Lucha Line, if you really want to be wrong. I've been told that's very wrong. So their triple berry cobbler sour.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was thick AF, man. Like there was the kind of like crawler that you had to keep upside down, and they want you to roll it,
sure,
and like baby it like it's like some sourdough starter.
Like interventions required to enjoy it.
Let the shit sit in my fridge. That's when it's gonna sit here. But at least it was upside down. I gave them that much respect.
Don't give me instructions to enjoy my beer.
I don't have to roll my beer. Thank you very much.
Hop on one foot for 2 seconds.
Right. But it was 4 out of 5. Again, it was fine. Loose Line is good. They started out well. It's about where they've stayed, so it'd be nice to see them get better.
Sure.
But it was just triple berry sour, kind of a standard one that's out there. But yeah, it was 4 out of 5. So, and then we are also having out of
could we play some taps with this?
I know. Out of St. Paul, Minnesota, we found out that at the end of October, Stack Deck Brewing, of which we've featured a few beers, and I'd been out there a few times, and I finally took you out there. My first time
went there like recently.
And October 30th was their final day. They have closed. So I had a crowler left in the fridge, and we are honoring their... Really, they were only open for about 3 years, but...
so unfortunate.
Yeah, I know.
They're so good.
I know. Let that be a lesson to anyone.
Yeah.
Don't open a brewery in St. Paul.
Yeah, St. Paul sucks.
Yeah, St. Paul sucks. So open it somewhere else. Anyway, so we have from Stack Deck.
They're Decitricons Double New England IPA. And I'm trying to keep my appreciation in check because of how much we love this brewery.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so sad they're leaving or being done. But dear God, this is good.
It's really good.
It's really damn
Citra,
good.
Yeah.
Anything Citra, it tends to be really, really
you tend
good.
to get me there. Yeah.
But a double New England IPA, this is fan-freaking-tastic.
It's outstanding.
So,
if this is the last chance I have
to
have a Stack Deck, it's good to go out.
Going on
like
top.
4.5.
Yeah, I'd say like 4.5. Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, this is damn good.
I know. So hopefully they find a way to get out from the issues that they had in that location and can find something else and open a new place or whatever. But I know they have some 4-packs still sort of floating around, but
I try and find them wherever I go now.
Yeah,
like you have Stack Deck? Okay,
tough.
go take it. Yeah.
So anyway,
although that could be kind of arguably a themed beer.
I know. I thought that too with this
building a house.
The deck.
Stack Deck.
Yep. I didn't want to go there though.
I do.
Yeah, you always go there.
I'm all about it.
So our next segment then is the social network.
If you guys were the inventors of Facebook, you'd have invented Facebook.
Where we take a look back at the critical and fan reception from 20 years ago. I have a couple of reviews because it was surprising how, like, again, I'm aware that I am like the best movie mind out there.
Okay.
But
that's some good self-awareness.
Yeah, I was shocked how a lot of reviewers really did not like this movie.
They didn't, but also what I'll add is I was really surprised at how many were so lazy and using like architectural and like construction terms in their reviews.
It just seemed like it was a lazy throwaway. So I have Lisa Schwartzbaum out of EW. Do you have that?
I don't, but I saw hers, but no.
That was, and then I have USA Today, who really loved it.
I don't.
So Lisa Schwartzbaum of EW, who, side note to her, I never liked her anyway. So here we go. You are no Owen Gilberman.
Oh, Lisa.
So
you are no Owen.
She did not like it. She gave it like it was maybe a 1 out of 4. I think it was. Wow. It was 30% on however that works, but it was she said it's no worse than any Disease of the Week TV movie and no more moralistic than any Lifetime drama, but it's no better either, and it ought to be. F you, Lisa Schwartzbaum. Yeah. So Mike Clark of USA Today loved it though. Said almost everything in Life as a House plays out in the ways you expect. But sometimes a movie's casting and characters are so right that you're willing and even happy to go with it, even if there are few surprises. He also went so far as to calling it a career-defining work for Klein, aside from, obviously, Fish Called Wanda.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, he loved it.
Yeah.
So I kind of had the both. I liked his of just saying, like, it plays out exactly how you expect. It's not, there's not a lot of surprises, but the good of this movie outweighs any of the bad. To where apparently Schwartzbaum had like some bad sushi the night before because she just crapped all over it.
It ought to be better.
It ought to be better. Like, good for you.
I get annoyed with like reviews of saying, you know,
go
what?
make something better then.
Exactly, but I get annoyed with movies or critiques, whatever we've talked about maybe in the past, where it's like I'm going to judge it because it didn't meet what I think it should be.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, that's not what it is.
Right?
Like, this is the movie. Judge it for what it is.
I appreciated with Ebert on his with Black Hawk Down, like jumping back to that. He gave it 4 out of 4.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it was the best picture of the year, but for what it was, the war pick it was, this is what it was. And so for Life as a House, to compare it to Lifetime, that's just a low blow.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's got moments of schmaltz, but it definitely doesn't feel like that forced.
So that's what I had on the Social Network side. What do you got?
Stephen Rosen of Denver Post.
Whoa, Denver Post. Somebody did his research.
Oh, I
look
worked
at you
hard.
Digging deep.
I tried to find ones that didn't have too many cliched architectural terms, but sometimes it did sneak through. He said the film may suffer from excessive and unnecessary ornamentation, but its foundation, especially Klein's performance, is solid and strong. Desson Thompson of Washington Post said it's a pleasant movie, written with care for the characters. And our big man, Raj, 2.5 out of 4 stars.
I liked his review, actually.
Said, because Life as a House is slick and classy and good to look at, and the actors are well within the range of competence, you can enjoy the movie on a made-for-TV level, but you wish it had been smarter and tougher. And other details as well. And then Academy Awards, none for that year.
Nope.
So, yeah, those are the Social Network.
Yeah, so normally in our episodes, we would watch the movie now. We've already watched it separately. At this
captivity.
Point, yes. At this point, if you haven't watched it, though, you should. Because I actually think,
yes,
you need to watch this movie. It's real. I love it. We'll talk about that here in a second. But our next segment, then, is our reaction segment, then, that we call High Fidelity.
Top 5 side ones, track ones.
Where we discuss our top takeaways from rewatching the film. Ooh, do you have
I have a strong one that I want to start with.
Okay, do it.
And what I think about when it comes to like my initial memories of seeing it is I forget exactly what movie we talked about before, but movies like this are a prime example of you may not watch it at the right time in your life. In the bedroom, that's what I watched. Yes. That one I could not have appreciated when I saw it 20 years ago. Could have like from a
film standpoint, yes, but not from an emotional standpoint.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is a prime example of this.
Huh.
I know I did not appreciate this movie at 22 years old or whatever it was when I saw it. But now having kids and watching it through that lens of seeing now what he had gone through with his kids, and I'll talk a little bit what kind of reaction I had at some moments.
Yeah.
Totally different. And so that's why I love what we're doing here is watching movies again that I probably would have written off at the time thinking, meh, and watching again and still having some minor quibbles, but overall, really, really, really liked it.
Yeah. This movie is not perfect. There's definitely quibbles I have as well, but there's so few perfect movies. That
True.
I don't think that's even a caveat that has to happen because there's always going to be quibbles.
Yes. But sometimes it is so more impactful where I could not have appreciated a movie at the time and then watching it now and having a by proxy experience with the main character who is having kids or has kids and going through it. Now being in that world's like, oh, I get it now. I get it what the story was trying to tell. Whereas before it would have felt forced. So anyway, that's why I feel like it was a great refresher.
Yeah.
And to go through it again. So anyway. Yeah.
I feel the same way, and yet you and I are very different in that is that like I'm raising a kid after a divorce, separation. Like I mean, like so I think it hits a somewhat on almost a different level,
Yes.
not in a better or worse way, but just a different level.
Yes.
And I was surprised how much it hit me. I've always cried in this movie. It doesn't take much, but it like, I've always cried in this movie,
Sure.
but like it does happen differently.
Yeah.
And this, yeah, I was just like weeping at the end of this where you're just like,
Oh my
ugh.
God.
Which, by the way, spoiler alert, George dies
Yes.
in this movie. Like, just, you're going to need to know that, but
Yes.
it's very abundantly clear. I like the review coming that I had out of USA Today. There is no surprise to this movie. There's never a point where you're like, or like, it's everything about this movie is exactly what I expect it to be. What separates it is, I think the story is good enough. The cast is outstanding. But yeah, I agree with you in a sense of like, I definitely have a different reaction now, not just as a parent, but then also that sort of secondary level to that as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's really well written when it comes to that.
Yes.
From a parent standpoint. So I don't know if that screenwriter has kids or not, but like, very well done.
Yes.
I guess that's kind of playing off of yours. I don't even know.
Well, what I would say is we'll just get right into it.
Yeah, do it.
Not to think of like a segment, but it was the sneaker
Too many secrets.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
aspect of me of like, I did not expect much in this movie because I'd experienced it 20 years ago and probably never watched it again because you didn't lure me to northern Minnesota
right.
and ply me with alcohol and
right.
say, we're watching this.
We're
movie."
watching this.
Yes. But truly, it
Take off your pants.
I love it. But what struck me was like, so when George tells his ex-wife about his prognosis, it got me. Like it was a whole thing of like, I am dying, and telling his ex-wife. But holy God, I'm going to tear up when we talk about it now. Like,
I won't look.
when she's showing George the video.
Oh, Lord. At the end? Are you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. You're going to get me to cry. Are you kidding
We'll
me?
do it right away.
Hold me-
Let's just cry right away. When he was watching his video of his like happiest experience with his son.
Yeah, the last time he was happy or whatever.
When he's 6 and my son is 6.
Mm-hmm.
I was openly sobbing.
Oh, God, yes. Yeah.
Like, I'm laughing downstairs, like, holy God. I'm like weeping at this movie. And that's where I'm like, God damn this movie. Because it was such a great, like, experience of that movie where you could have this experience where I had no idea of that 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so, thankfully, we watch this movie now. I'm like, my kids got vaxxed today.
Hey!
So, it was a wonderful, like, this movie was great. I'm going to cry. I don't care. It was so good. Like,
Well,
I'm like,
it is.
God, it's
I
so,
agree.
so, like, but it sneaks up on you where some of the first half felt like a bit forced at times. And why is everyone so angsty? God, it felt like so like
you're a bunch of rich, white
exactly,
people living on the bluffs
exactly.
of California.
Like, oh really? Your life is so
Oh,
tough.
yeah.
Oh, so tough. Like, yeah. Some like Hayden Christensen, like Sam or whatever, is like doing some weird huffing and like audio what is it? Auto asphyxiation?
Auto asphyxiation.
Yeah, it's like
autoerotic asphyxiation.
Yeah, there he goes. Yeah.
Not like I did that this morning.
It was so forced for like, but what it does is like it's this bait and switch. So then when she is showing him that video, he talks about like this is the whole effort. Oh my God, I was sobbing.
Yeah, because you
on the
don't
couch.
quite. I agree. You don't quite see it coming.
Yeah,
because for a movie that really deep, like dives deep into the schmaltz to a certain extent.
Yeah.
You still don't see that coming. You sort of assume that he's gonna finish the house and kind of have it. Like you're sort of assuming, and then when that comes up, and then she is sitting there with him, and they've reconciled and they've done like what they need to do.
Yep.
And then of course that's actually Kevin Klein.
Yeah.
And his kid.
Yes.
And, you know what I mean? So there is some of that a little bit.
But for the movie, like it's a memory of his son who's 6.
Yeah.
And my son is 6.
Yeah.
Right now. I was like, I remember watching me like,
oh yeah.
Oh, I was so like, it was a rare experience. I love having movies where it just like drains.
Oh yeah.
The stress.
Yeah. I watch,
and like,
whenever I need a good cry, I watch Philadelphia.
I
right?
watched Green Mile.
Oh yeah, Green Mile's a good one.
Oh my
This one's a
God.
good one too. Where if ever I just need a good cry, I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna put this in.
I totally agree. Yes, I would
Perks
not
of
have.
Being a Wallflower for me as well. Like there's just certain movies you could put in, and you're just like gonna cry.
Yes,
that's the point.
Yes,
you better get on board.
When he's dying, he watches this, and I was like, oh,
yeah. But and oftentimes, a movie will give away the ending like that. Like when he talks about that's the last time I was happy, you don't think at that moment that you're going to see the video in the end. And yet it comes. So that is a nice callback. Really well done when it comes to filmmaking standpoint.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, I guess I don't know exactly how to come off of that, which is fine. But I love that he didn't use the dying as an excuse to reconcile.
Yeah.
From the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Like you find out in the first 10 minutes he's dying.
Yeah.
Like he didn't then go like, hey, everybody, I get cancer. Let's reconcile. He like did it on his own terms and he forced it and it was selfish. And I like that layer of Hayden Christensen getting mad later when he realizes this.
Yeah.
Sam, I wanted us to, spend a few months together. Here. Sometimes things happen for a reason, something bad to force something good.
You knew you were dying from the start?
We're all dying from the start. I just got moved to the head of the line.
But you lied to me.
I would have lied to myself if I thought I'd believe it.
So this whole thing, this whole summer having me here was for your sake. You selfish fuck. Having me here trying to get me to like you?
No, Sam. I wasn't trying to get you to like me. I was trying to get you to love me.
That's actually really well written.
Yes.
But it wasn't, he didn't like go around like, woe is me. He didn't go anything like that. All he wanted to do was finish this thing that he wanted, that he had in his mind forever.
Yep.
And do it in such a way to where he would do it with Sam and it would be his way of like, he hated his father, right? Like he hated everything to do with his father and he did not want to leave that legacy for his kid. And so it's a very, I love that. For me, a lot of times you see movies that center around a dying character, and I mentioned Philadelphia, but but that's different because they don't like use it as. But sometimes you do see it where they use that as a catalyst, and everyone knows, and it feels very forced.
Yes.
Whereas this was like he wanted to do it on his terms, fix this, and not have it be about the cancer.
Yes.
It eventually has to be like towards the end, but I love that piece of it. And to me, that's what sets it apart from freaking Lisa Schwartzbaum and her sick of the week comment or whatever.
Lifetime.
Yeah. Right. I mean, that's what sets it apart is like that stuff always does that to get the schmaltz out of like to get you to cry.
Yes.
And when you're forcing me to cry, I'll never do it. But when it sneaks up on you, like that scene, then you're like, God, you bastards.
Yes.
You succeeded at this.
I know.
And I love that piece of the screenplay is that he doesn't tell people right away.
Yes.
He and not on purpose. He just is just like, I don't want to do this. I want to build this house.
Spend the summer with my son, and I want to connect, and I want to do something that I've wanted to do forever.
Yeah. And
now I have the severance to accomplish it.
Yep.
So he uses that and says, I'm going to do this.
Yep.
So, yeah, I agree. Like, to that point, it's, the whole thing of the legacy, where what I actually really liked about this movie was it was kind of this twist is the wrong word. But what I appreciated was, and I totally forgot about, was while it was this story of, I want to spend this time to reconnect with my son. And like in the happiest moment, and then even with my ex-wife to show like, yeah, I missed the mark and I'm an idiot, and I want to at least have you know that you were an amazing part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
All this actually was an effort to have this property get built and then he could undo somewhat or repair some of the damage that his own dad had caused.
Correct. He didn't do it. His dad did.
But his legacy could be changed by his dad, who had orphaned this girl that they talk about in passing before.
I agree. Like, you don't really see that coming.
No.
Like, they talk about it and you don't really see that coming. Yep.
But then at the end, it's actually this house is designed and built
yeah.
for this girl who is wheelchair bound, or woman. She clearly has kids, but it's an effort to say it's not like, and that really struck me, where it's not just like I'm connected with my son and like I can have some kind of thing, but it's showing him like you can do good in the world, that we could undo some of this damage. And that was, I didn't mind it. I actually was like, okay, like I can, like it felt more than just like a, to use that thing, like a lifetime ailment of the week. It was actually, think about this, and then we can pass this on to somebody else, and we can start doing some good for this. Like it was, I was like, okay, I can work with this. I appreciated that kind of twist, I would say, where it was an effort where he was, it wasn't advertised, but it was hinted at that he was doing this for this person. So I liked that. It was good.
I think sometimes a simple premise is all you need in a movie.
True.
And I love that about this movie.
Yeah.
I don't need, this is a guy who's dying and decides to do what he can before he dies to reconcile with his family and build a damn house. There endeth. There's no hidden depths to this movie. There's not, I love, like, not every movie has to be some layered, existential Paul Thomas Anderson look into the world, whom we love.
Which
but
I
like,
love, yes.
For God's sakes, not everything has to be. Sometimes you need to just put on a movie and enjoy the hell out of it.
Yep.
And I love, this isn't, I actually wrote down too, if you like, here we go. If you like Crazy Stupid Love, About a Boy, The Upside of Anger,
totally,
or The Big Sick, if you like those movies, you'll love this movie.
Similar vein.
Right.
Yep.
They're simple premises. They are what they are. They're well acted. They're decently written. They're produced well enough. And there's nothing fancy about any of the movies I just mentioned. Although we'll discuss About a Boy next year.
Yep.
There it is. Like, just give me a simple premise and then
execute well.
Right. And hire the right people.
Yes.
And we'll get to Kevin Klein later, but hire the right people and you will have a good movie. And this is what it is. It's a simple premise.
Yes.
There's nothing about this that I could the synopsis I wrote took me like 10 seconds. It was here we go. Like, that was it. There's no hidden depths to this movie.
Yes.
And yet 20 years later I'm still talking about it, and I'm so happy we did instead of say The Majestic.
Yes.
But I love it. A simple premise is all you need. That's what I wrote down.
Yep. I just want to point out really briefly one thing, and then we'll talk another thing. Any chance I can have to give a shout out to one of the best sci-fi shows ever, Quantum Leap?
Sure. Scott Bakula. Right. Yeah, I thought you were like NCIS Louisiana or New Orleans.
I don't watch NCIS.
Yeah, it's New Orleans.
No. Quantum Leap, if you haven't watched it, dear God, go back.
First 3 seasons are outstanding.
Yes, so good. I love he's
fun story. That was up for best drama a couple times, actually. I was shocked by that.
Really?
At the Emmys, yes. Oh. Yeah, when I went.
It premiered on my birthday.
Yeah. Oh, look at you.
I have a special connection to Quantum Leap.
It's so good.
Yes.
Oh, it's so good.
Such an incredible show.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Scott Bakula. Yes. He came like, he's in the...
And he wasn't even originally cast in this movie.
Oh, really?
Somebody else was originally cast in that role, but they got hurt in a motorcycle accident. And then...
Hey, Scott.
They're like, we got to get somebody. And Scott Bakula's like, I'm not working.
Hey. I'm in a gap between Quantum Leap and NCIS.
Well, actually, probably in the Gap, literally. He's probably working at the Gap at the time.
Probably. But he's so good.
He's totally enjoyable in this movie.
I love him. Anyway, I just hadn't mentioned, like, anytime we can watch movies, like, just like, Scott Bakula. Okay. So, can we somewhat, I want to mention at least a minor quibble.
Sure. There are many. I have quite a few.
From, like, a somewhat creepy standpoint.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Sam and the neighbor girl, Alyssa, are like 16. And one, they don't look that way. So fine. But fine, if they are.
Right.
All the stuff they're doing is just really...
You mean like showering together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like all like the underage...
And yet, I kind of buy it when it comes to like the white kids in the rich neighborhoods. They gotta find ways to do it.
I get it, but it's just like it's just really creepy.
Oh yeah, and
watch.
not her kissing Kevin Klein. No, that's not creepy at all.
know.
There again,
or like the nurse.
Yep.
As he's
actually, I like that scene a lot personally. But
it's well intended.
I get really what my quibbles on this are the adults. Essentially taking advantage of kids.
Yes.
Especially Mary Steenburgen.
I know.
Yeah, I was like, what are we doing here? What is happening? You're banging your daughter's boyfriend?
Yes.
I guess. That to me is like, what's the purpose of this? Because in the end, they're apparently fine.
Yeah.
Like the two of them, the mother and daughter, they're all fine. So I'm like, what did this serve?
Yes.
It essentially just served as the ability to free up her to date Sam.
Yes.
As opposed to, I don't know, you're dating a pimp?
Yes.
Like, that would have been enough to make you...
Yeah.
Like,
hey, not a cool guy to hang out with.
Exactly.
Yes.
So
to me, to be honest, it felt like to me a, like, sad attempt at, like, an American Beauty facsimile.
Sure, yeah.
Where it was, like, this dysfunction.
Yep.
And this, like, think, like, that was one Best Picture. And all these things, like, how can we, like, repackage in some ways? I'm like, it just fell flat in some ways.
Don't you dare try and do... You just can't...
No.
Yeah.
It's
can't do it.
That's on its own.
That was
incredible.
So it was a one-off. Yes. I agree, though. I have quibbles when it comes to that, for sure. Like, when you get off of the main story of this movie...
Yes.
There's a lot that you're like, okay.
Yes.
Like, what was the purpose of this?
Yes. It felt
none of it
forced.
drives the central story.
Yes.
So for sure, there are problems with this movie, like when it comes to that. But what I'm thankful for is none of those problems affect the central story.
True.
The main arc of this, the reason they made this movie, the simple premise is what it is, and they added a few other things. Okay, fine, but it didn't. But thankfully, it doesn't ruin it either.
And the new husband that she's had new kids with, like, is clearly like so forced to be like so distant and challenging, or whatever. But there's also a great arc with that, which I appreciate.
I agree. At first, I always used to hate that guy, and I was like, but also she purposefully found somebody who was going to be. So we know that Kevin Klein, like George is a dreamer. George is a guy who just wanted to do this.
Yep.
And she went for the opposite. And
Very
a guy
practical.
who's the stable, practical dad who's a terrible father.
Yep.
And now she's stuck in that relationship, realizing that maybe she wanted love, not practicality.
Yep.
So I've come around on him as a character in this movie.
Yeah.
Because of that.
And
more from her perspective than the actual movie.
And he has a great thing where he leaves and all stuff, but then comes back. And so it definitely didn't feel like this forced thing of like, he's out, peace out. Like it's all about the dream. Right. It's like, no, actually.
Now he wants to be a good dad.
Yes.
Yep.
To his two kids. Like I agree. Like the quibble at first, I'm like, oh no, I like it now.
Yep. What do we got? I don't know if that was me or you, but whatever.
We'll go back and forth.
Man, Hayden Christensen, I remember this because he was up for he wasn't nominated for anything for this, but he was on the Entertainment Weekly short list about Oscar nominations and stuff. He's really good in this movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And he's only good in 2 movies, in my opinion.
This and
Shattered Glass.
Shattered Glass.
That's it.
Absolutely. He is a terrible actor.
Well, yeah. So here's hoping that he's learned how to act in the last 20 years so that when he's back on Disney Plus as Obi-Wan or as Darth Vader in the Obi-Wan series.
Oh, they're going to do an Anakin? I guess they're doing. Okay.
Oh, yeah. He's in the entire. No, it's in. So it's after everything happens. So he's Darth Vader in the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series.
We've gone off the rails, but that's okay.
It doesn't matter. But he's in that. He's also going to be in so he's suddenly all over the place on Disney Plus. And I'm like, boy, I hope you learned how to act. Oh, man, please. Because otherwise, not very good. But I think he's legitimately good in this movie.
He's fine. I'm okay with him.
I think the first half, he's not great.
No.
Not great, it's bad. He's fine. He's exactly what he's supposed to be.
He's the problem he's a problem in the Star Wars. He can't do angst.
Yeah. But
It's
once
so
he gets
forced.
past that,
Yes.
once he
Takes the nose rings out and like connects. Yes.
Once he's there,
Yes.
then it's fine.
Yes.
I think he's really good in this movie.
Yeah.
And he's outstanding as Shattered Glass. Like that's by far and away his best performance.
Fantastic.
So I was just like, I have a note. Hopefully Obi-Wan is good because
I mean, you put Ewan McGregor in, like I'm signing up. Absolutely,
and so far we have no reason to believe anything otherwise when it comes to
Disney
that.
Plus is done out of the park anyway. But
I think he's good in this. I think as a kid who
I'm okay with him,
Right.
actually.
But yeah, the first few parts where he's just like supposed to be yelling and angry and all this other stuff, I don't buy that.
Yeah, I'm like, it's
But
a bit much.
Right. Yep. So,
But as it goes along, and he's starting to connect with George, yes, I agree. It does have much more of that connection. One more thing for me, at least, before we talk about the amazing Kevin Klein.
Kevin Klein.
I have a movie making question.
Okay.
How did they find some plot of land in the ocean that would work for this? Like, how do they scour the shoreline to find this? Because it's really perfect for this like portion. But a practical question: how the hell could George have afforded the taxes on that oceanfront property? Like, you got to be kidding me! Like all these properties around it, which
My
are
assumption
amazing.
is his dad had some money of some kind in order to afford that for
But
the
that's a
longest
big
amount of
assumption.
time.
But I agree. Like watching me, like, how did you afford this
Right.
for like 10,
And
20 years?
architects
Like,
in California, I imagine, make a pretty good living.
well, he got laid off. I
And-
guess not. But
Well, but if 6 months of severance was going to be able to build that house,
true.
I mean,
True.
I feel like there's probably some money there. I agree, though, of just like, I'm more amazed that they allowed that shack to live there.
Yeah.
Side note, it actually never was there.
Yes.
It was a blank piece of land.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
I agree,
So-
though. My before we get on to Kevin, I would say this is the best, if not top 2, I quit scenes in the history of film.
Sure.
Like there's probably, I guess, Jerry Maguire, right?
That's a
Which
good-
is, like,
yeah.
outstanding.
Yeah.
But when he's walking around that place and just demolishing all those models and
All
stuff,
models, yes.
just this cathartic, like, F you, I quit.
I'm gonna keep this one.
I'm gonna keep this one. It's like
Yep.
F you, F you, F you. You're cool.
You're cool.
But, like,
That might be number 3. Half baked.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, maybe even number 1, depending on how you look at it. So
Yes.
I love that scene where he just finally is like, I hated this job for 20 some odd years.
Yep.
And yeah, I love that scene. So
Before we get into Kevin Klein,
yeah,
there's no way he's 45 in this movie. Because he left at he started at 26, 25, been there for 20 years, and I get he's leaving. Whatever. I'm like, there's no way Kevin Klein is 45.
so that's
years
been
old.
20 years since this movie came out, and
Right.
he's 74.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean 54.
I mean he's 10 years older.
Yeah,
like,
that's not as bad in movie making terms.
like
but
at
I
least
agree.
have him be like darker hair, and then he can get older as he ages because he's dying. But I
Yeah.
was like, there
He
ain't
lost
no
25 pounds for this movie.
kudos to
Like,
him.
good for
I didn't
him.
know, but like, there's no way he's 45 in this movie. Like, come on. Okay, so
Yeah, what do you got?
should we wax poetic about Kevin Klein?
Yeah, I think we can because I have a hot shot kind of off of it, but also yeah. What do you got?
I just think I don't know that I could say that I'm a huge like fan of Kevin Klein because I haven't watched much of his stuff.
Yeah,
Because I've just like he's so effortless.
yeah. He flew under the radar for you.
Like he did.
You
Like
need to go watch more.
and I do. I feel like I've like missed out on like I mean I definitely appreciated Fish Called Wanda, but outside of that, like he's been like well, of course there's Dave. Like
Dave's
oh my
great.
God,
In and
Dave
out.
is so good.
Yep.
And I hadn't watched In and Out until like a month ago.
Until-
Like,
yeah, when I
we
forced you to
watched.
watch
Yeah,
it,
exactly.
yep.
Yeah, when you brought me to the North Shore and forced me to watch it. Yeah,
Right. It puts the lotion on its skin, or it gets the hose again.
Here's more absinthe. What is happening? But he is so effortless.
Yeah.
That I don't know that I could have appreciated back in the day. But now seeing him, like, he is just unreal.
Yep.
And how much he embodies a character. Because someone in this movie, I do feel like, and I like Kristen Scott Dame. Kristen Scott Thomas.
Yeah.
Like, she's fine. But she even Hayden Christensen, like, they feel like they're even, oh my gosh, what's it, Jenna Malone or whatever? Like, they're acting. Like, you can tell they're in a movie. And then there's Kevin Klein, who is above and beyond just carrying this movie. Like, the dancing scene and then just everything he does is just effortless. So I don't know that I could speak enough about Kevin Klein. I got to go back and watch his stuff.
My dad used to play this game. I never really even understood what it was till after he was gone.
I was holding for somebody else. It wasn't even mine.
The game was to make me smaller than he was. Smaller. Always smaller. No matter what. He could be almost invisible as a human being, but I still had to be smaller. So that if I got good grades in school, then I was a pussy for not playing football. Or if I cut my hair for him, it was never short enough. Or if I shaved my head, then I looked like a psycho. I never won the game. Never. And if he couldn't make me smaller with words, I don't want you smaller. I want you to be happy. You're not. Not here with me, not home with your mother, not alone, not anywhere. You're what I was most of my life, Sam. I see it in your eyes, in your sleep, in your answer to everything. You're barely alive.
Yeah, I think in my initial question was, is there a movie that Kevin Klein is bad in? And I think that's no.
I don't know how there could be. But that's ignorance on my part.
No, I just, because even in like, because he's Maurice in Beauty and the Beast more recently. And,
maybe Wild Wild West.
But even then, I'm telling you, man,
he's
that
good.
movie is not as bad as history has remembered it. And it has nothing to do with Kevin Klein or Will Smith. It has everything to do with the writing.
Yes.
It's awful.
Yeah. Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah, and he's fine. I just, but even then, that's a bad movie, but not like Kevin Klein was bad.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, it's good.
Like, I have never watched him ever be bad in a movie.
Yeah.
And it's never, it feels like, and what's most impressive to me on him is it feels like he doesn't even have to work to it.
No.
It's just not even effortless. It's just natural. Yeah. And the only, I mean, so my, not hotshot, but personal hotshot is I sat there watching him and I was like, I have a love of In-N-Out and Dave and other, I love Kevin Klein. And I'm sitting there going like, I think he's like top 5 favorite actor of all time for me. And I was sitting there like, I mean, Tom Hanks is number 1 for me.
Sure.
It always has been. But same reason, right? Just effortless. People who are just, he also seems like a good dude.
Yeah.
Like there's never, you ever heard anybody say like, man, Kevin Klein's an asshole. Like never, you just don't get that, right? Exactly. Yeah. I don't know. I kept watching this and I kept reminding myself. And I think the one knock on, say, like Tom Hanks is oftentimes, even when Hanks is at his best, you kind of are still watching Tom Hanks.
Yeah. True.
Whereas like Kevin Klein, you oftentimes don't necessarily feel like you're watching Kevin Klein, you're watching the character.
Yeah.
So good. He's so good in this.
Yep.
Yeah. There, I don't even know if I could keep going on him right now. But yeah, I don't. The reason to watch this movie is
Kevin
it's
Klein.
good, but it's Kevin Klein.
Yep.
You got to watch this movie. And I appreciated USA Today saying like, maybe outside of Fish Called Wanda, this is a career-defining performance of his.
Yes.
Like just, he's so
he
good. He
carries the movie.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Which you should watch The Lovely too, by the way, if you haven't watched that.
I have not seen it.
Oddly enough, directed by Erwin McClure as well. So there we are.
Oh, bring him back in. Yeah, that's good.
But he's so good in that. Like he's good in everything he does.
You know the great thing though? Is that change can be so constant that you don't even feel the difference until there is one. It can be so slow that you don't know that your life is better or worse until it is. Or it can just blow you away, make you something different in an instant. It happened to me. Build this house with me.
Oh, so good.
You know, I'm gonna have to go back through and watch them all. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to like think of what other movies I need to make.
I've never
you
seen
watch.
Big Chill.
See, now we have a different conversation. He's outstanding at Big Chill.
And that's all I care about.
Yeah. But the Big Chill itself, I don't know. It's not for me. But I was, 3 when it came out?
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. I should watch these movies now that I have, kids and...
Oh, French Kiss was the one I liked, too, of his.
Oh, yeah, with
Meg
Ryan.
Ryan.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
so good in that, too.
That's true. He's very good.
He's so good in that.
But even the more recent, Beauty and the Beast.
I literally just said that earlier. That's fine, though. I said he plays Maurice in Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, I missed that.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. But I agree. He's very good in that.
He's fantastic in that.
Yeah, as if I hadn't have said that. Yeah, he was in The Conspirator. Oh, definitely Maybe. You love that movie.
I do love that movie.
There you go. Prairie Home Companion.
Oh, my gosh. Yes. Oh, that's such a good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Life's House. I mean, yeah, there's a lot that you got to go back and rewatch.
Yep.
Anyway, so yeah, we could certainly talk about that.
And then for those who potentially don't know, just go find the music by Guster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have it on my list too. Guster is awesome.
Guster.
Woke up today to everything great and all that I saw.
Solely for the fact of their drummer plays with his hands.
I don't think he does anymore.
He's giving it up because your hands are destroyed. But when they came to Luther, and we saw them, and he played bongos, and he was smashing
everything with taped up fingers.
Taped up fingers, and he's smashing the cymbals. I'm like, what are you doing? They have sticks for this, man.
Yeah, and yet.
And he is just, he's just incredible. So that was, Guster. Check it out.
I went to see Guster at the XL Energy Center.
Really?
Yeah, and it was they opened for John Mayer.
Sure.
So I always remember my friend Mark and we went for Guster, and we left before John Mayer even played.
You're like, I'm good.
Yeah, and we always joked about it. I wish we had made T-shirts as came for Guster, left for Mayer.
For John Mayer.
And we were all these women, as we were leaving, where are you going? And be like, we came for what we saw what we wanted to see here. And they were awesome. They're
so good.
Their music's good. They're great live. I don't even know if they're together anymore at this point in their life.
They've added some band members. Yeah, they're good.
It's great. They're great. Any other sort of not final thoughts, but any thoughts right now on the Life as a House?
No, I'm happy we watched this.
Totally.
I did not have an appreciation when I first saw it, and as you heard before, when I cried about it, it was sobbing on my couch. It's been a long time since I've cried that hard watching a movie, and it hit me, and I was damn upset by it because I'm like, God, I don't want this movie, because I'd expect nothing. I didn't expect much, but this was it. It was a really cathartic. When the kids woke up the next morning, I was like, I'm gonna give you an extra hug. So it was very enjoyable.
Yeah, I'm so my note just said, there are flaws, but I mean, I'm so glad that the core story still resonates.
Yes.
If not even more, as you get older, and it's just that the core part of that story.
Yes.
Because the visual effects are awful.
Yeah.
The hospital on the ocean.
Oh yeah.
Give me a break.
Yeah.
Ocean View Hospital, that's convenient.
There's a lot of stuff that's super dumb.
Oh, it's totally terrible.
Super dumb.
But
check out the window. You can see the house. It's so dumb.
Right.
Yes.
But it's really well done.
Yes.
It's
exactly.
super good.
Yep.
It's really Irwin Winkler's only really good directing movie, to be honest with you. Although DeLovely's pretty good. But he's really known for a producer more than anything else. So, all right. So, do you have any quiz show?
I have 2.
Okay, go ahead.
So we have quiz show.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry. Well, we come now to the bittersweet moment of our final segment. Oh, yeah, there you go. So our last segment of the night is quiz show.
The exciting quiz program 21,
where we search for trivia surrounding our subject film and try to stump each other so that we can see what happens.
Yeah.
There we go. What do you got?
We've talked about it a little bit, but the movie has 3 Oscar nominees.
Yeah.
2 of whom...
Acting-wise or...
Acting-wise.
Okay, all right. 2
of whom won.
Right.
Can you name the 3 nominees for acting.
Well, Kevin Klein, obviously, because he won. And then Kristen Scott Thomas, Dame, was English Patient.
Yep.
And then Mary Steenburgen won. What was that movie called? It was in the early 80s.
I literally
something in Howard, right?
Dude, how do you... Melvin and Howard.
Melvin and Howard.
I had no idea that she's
that's the one that,
I had no idea.
Howard is like this. He's claiming to be the heir of Howard Hughes' fortune.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I had no idea she won an Oscar.
Yeah. Well, do you know who directed that movie?
No.
Jonathan Demme did.
Are you serious?
Yes.
What? I had no idea.
Yeah.
This is why I love this podcast, because I do trivia. I'm like, she won a freaking Oscar?
Yeah. In 1980.
Yeah, at 80, yeah.
Yeah.
Mary Steenburgen, she's an Oscar winner?
Yep.
I had no idea.
Supporting actress for that.
Oh, man.
Jonathan Demme directed that movie.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Jason Robards was also in that movie.
Dude, I love this.
There you go.
This is why I bring you to trivia at breweries. Because I'm like, Steve, and you're up.
Is there a movie one?
Ringer.
There we go.
Yeah. Well done.
I actually really don't have one, but I just mentioned him. So, like, Irwin Winkler has one Oscar win as a producer.
I don't know who that is. I mean,
he's the director,
of course.
You should know because he's produced films like, I don't know, Goodfellas and a substantial portion of Martin Scorsese's. But he won an Oscar for a 1970, off the top of my head, I think it's 75. Sylvester Stallone starring movie.
Rocky?
Yeah, he produced Rocky.
Really?
Yeah.
I truly had never heard of Irwin Winkler.
Yeah, you really should from a producer standpoint.
Really?
Look at his filmography. It's pretty outstanding. As a producer.
Wow.
Director, not that much, but
that's what I was thinking. Like, he didn't do much.
No, Irwin Winkler as a producer is pretty substantial, actually.
Interesting.
So Rocky, there you go. What's your second one?
We're just gonna keep on the Oscar perspective. Composer Mark Isham, I think it is. Yeah. He scored over 120 films in his 40-year career, including Point Break, Varsity Blues, The Majestic, and Quiz Show. Quiz Show.
Yeah.
He's received only one Oscar nomination for what 1992 film starring Brad Pitt and Tom Skerritt.
Yeah. Legends of the Fall.
No, that's James Horner.
That's James Horner. River Runs Through.
Yes.
Off the top of my head, Tom Skerritt was, Yes. River Runs Through. Yeah, it's a good score too, though.
Oh, so good.
Oh, also, side note, Legends of the Fall is an outstanding score as well.
That is a good score, yeah. But anyway, River Runs Through It. Nice.
I got there.
Yeah, you got there.
I got there. Yeah. I don't have another one. I'm not even going to make
No,
one.
it's all good.
Yeah, we're fine. So, any other final thoughts on?
No, I'm happy to watch this. It was one that I was unprepared for watching it.
Yeah.
That it snuck up on me. It really, really knocked me for a loop. And I'm happy to watch it.
I want anyone listening to watch this because I'm not sure many people have.
No.
I don't know many people have watched this movie. And not again, like you're going to sit down and, oh my God, it's going to be like the greatest thing ever.
The first part's like,
but it's so enjoyable.
Yes.
Like, it's just really good. It's so well done.
Yes.
So that brings us to the end of this episode of 20 Years, 4 Beers. Stay tuned for our upcoming packed December because we have 3 episodes coming your way. First will be the Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring.
What about second breakfast?
Then Gosford Park. And finally, our end of the year Oscar special on A Beautiful Mind.
Why not? Why can't I?
Once again, we want to say thank you for taking the time to listen and for clicking that like or subscribe button on your devices. Find us on Twitter at years_beers and on Facebook, or head to 20years4beers.com. This has been 20 Years 4 Beers. My name is Steve.
I'm Tim.
And thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Thick AF.
You lure people to a remote location like Superior Lake.
Take off your pants.
Welcome again.
Hey,
we're having a podcast.
Over.